This is Spotlight on Small Business with NFIB Pennsylvania's Kevin Shivers.
Welcome to NFIB Spotlight on Small Business. I'm your host, Kevin Shivers, Executive Director of the National Federation of Independent Business here in Pennsylvania. Well, agriculture is our number one industry, and Pennsylvanians have long been regarded as stewards of our environment. But agribusiness and agricultural jobs are under threat yet again because of new regulations, specifically involving the Endangered Species Act. There was a hearing recently in Harrisburg. It was a federal hearing, but one of our testifiers was State Representative Jeff Pyle from Armstrong and Butler counties. Welcome to our program.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Now, the Endangered Species Act, what specifically, don't we want to protect, these little animals and creatures?
We sure do. ESA was instituted in 1973 on a federal level to protect creatures that we were watching go down that dark path into extinction. And the biggest superstar is the bald eagle, which recently got moved down a classification. It's having some success coming back. But in the years that have ensued, the role of ESA has expanded very greatly, to the point where, as you identified, our farmers and our homeowners are starting to take it on the chin.
And it's just a host of regulations. I mean, we're talking most recently, the hearing that you participated in had to do with a new regulation involving a particular type of bat. The
northern long-eared bat. In Pennsylvania, the way that works is if you're going to cause any land disturbance, you have to submit your permits, to the powers that be. And I'll give you an example. A fellow down in Adams County wanted to put in like an 88 house unit down there, big old housing plan. He was concerned about endangered species, so he asked everybody he could, are there any there that I'm going to have to make mediations for? And nobody knew. So the guy went ahead and executed the sale on the land, and the first person at his door was our game commission, saying, hey, surprise, you just landed dead smack right in the middle of an endangered bat habitat. And for you to do anything with that land you just laid out money for, we need this. And it just came off as a shakedown. That's about as anti-caveat emptor as I've ever heard. I posed a bill, and that was one of the main driving forces of it. I mean, it will let you go into it due diligence, eyes open. The northern long-eared bat has a range that literally stretches the whole way from Alabama to Alberta. It's a full 1/3 of the North American continent. But now, because the bats are beset by this fungus, white nose syndrome, which is not man-made, it passes bat to bat to bat when they huddle together in their caves. And it's like Ebola for them. I mean, once they contract this thing, it shorts out their sonar system. They can't hunt. They starve, and they literally fall out of the sky. We've known about it since 2006. It started up around Vermont, worked its way down the mountains. Now, that said, it's very sad. We've had our universities looking at cures. We have nothing. But does that mean my people shouldn't put up their first new school in 100 years? And for a businessman, like you brought up agriculture, those guys are taking a really hard impact off of this. Because one of the things, a lot of farmers have outbuildings, and they're open, they're not doored, they're not sealed up like barns. If they find one of these little brown bats in there, they can draw a 3-mile circle around that barn, and for 5 months out of the year, during the bat's mating season, you got to get permission to do pretty much anything.
So if you're looking to harvest timber, and Pennsylvania is renowned for our timber products.
Perfect, yeah.
You take a look at any other crop, a cash crop that is harvested, exactly. Even, I'm sure, mining for minerals, coal, and other things under the ground. You're talking about literally stopping that type of development for a 5-month period of time.
I've been approached by the aggregates industries, which, they deal with it. The logging industry, this new endangered status they're seeking to elevate the northern long-eared to, would mean that none of our logging operations, and Pennsylvania has the largest hardwood logging industry in the nation. but for 5 months a year from May through to October, which is the bat's breeding season, you couldn't do a thing with it.
I want to thank you for your advocacy on this issue in Washington, at least at the federal level, but also here at the state level as well. I want to thank you again for joining us on this program. Where can folks learn more about you? Do you have a website?
We do have a website if they're interested. It's www.jeffpyle, JEFFPYLE, no spaces, dots, or dashes.net. And that's my official house email. So.
And you can learn more about NFIB by visiting nfib.com/PA, or you can join the conversation on social media at Twitter at NFIB_PA. Thanks for watching this edition of Spotlight on Small Business.